right, so back to this. Yeah, just carrying on. Really got nothing else or left to say. It's just we're actually coming up near the end, seemingly, which is very interesting. I swore this had what, 23? I don't know. Interesting to kind of think about though, because then it also raised the question of okay, the show ends with, Lain basically erasing herself, from the memories of pretty much everyone on Earth, right? Hmm. Obviously, I don't think the game's going to get to that level. So it raises the question of what's kind of the end game of all of this, right? We saw the last movie. I guess that's the one thing we have to go off of, where she broke the mirror, and it was getting to a little sus point. Like it was like, okay, is she gonna freaking pick up a shard of glass and like is the end, Lain committing suicide, right? Because honestly, I hate to say it, I would not be surprised if that's the end of this. Because obviously, with the Wired not really being the thing, like it just strips. He's obviously Lane's, the digital and visual or virtual realm, right? And just the internet and network in general is still a thing, but it doesn't seem to be like the Wired level where it's like, okay, this actual, tangible like force, right? Where it's different. It does seem to be like different from how it is in real life. So again, the story being a lot more grounded there. So it's not going to reach the level to where like Lane's like memory wiping everyone. But I hate to say it, and I don't want to say it's what's going to happen, but I would honestly not be surprised if kind of the end goal of this was Lain committing suicide. Because again, remember at the very beginning, Toka said it was only borderline possible for her to live a normal life. Mm. So the thing there being, and what that ultimately comes down to is because the ending, it can go, I can see it go one of two ways. One, Lain kind of goes off and lives a normal life, or two, she kills herself. I really think there's only two options. Like, I genuinely don't think, and it's also weird because I still feel like we need to explain, there needs to be an explanation. Okay, we see this virtual or visual version of Lain, and we're going through this module system. Like, is there some sort of relation of that to what's going on within the modules, or is it literally just, there for the visual aspect? So again, kind of who knows, right? Hmm. So that's ultimately what that also comes down to. So who knows? I guess I don't think it's going to happen. Let's just start it, right? I guess we'll see. Eventually, we'll make our way down there, but for now, we're focusing on the path or journey, right?
メールを送ってから2時間もしないうちにファイナルメールが来た。ちょっと見てもいいかなって思ったけど、絶対変な写真だから、レコードして完成させてからエンコードした。これであの人は二度とこんなことをしたくない。
Oh my god, Lane literally fucking hacked this dude. This motherfucker's in grade school, dude. Lane is in 5th grade, fucking sending out, what would you call it? Like freaking like bugged, like, or what would you call it? Like freaking what there's a better term, sending out freaking wire, not wired, but freaking, oh my god, dude. Really, just like it's impressive. It's so impressive, right? And this is 90s level technology, 90s era technology. So fucking 5th grade Lane sending out bugged, like encoded emails. Like insane, the level of like
ポストの情報をミラーサイトに公開した。画像関係の拡張子はどうせ変な写真だから見なかったけど、テキストも気持ち悪かった。でも、本当に彼が犯人だったのか不安になっていた。全然違う人の ID で、しかも別の持ち主のデータだった。もう二度とこんなことをするのはやめよう。
what's the noise in the background?
ことをできるのは辛いです。私って何？
It's more technological jargon or I guess just noise. And again, not because it's not just the beeping in general, which is what we saw earlier, but whenever there's like technological noise in the background, right? Is that's just the medium for Lain to again kind of act out her alter ego. We know it's getting into that territory again. So she like legit, like, dude, like stole this guy's information, and blasted, made it public. So, but again, she's then kind of questioned whether she got the right guy or not. She didn't want to. But then she also said she likes when she has power over others and that there's something wrong with her. So, again, very, I'm genuinely curious because the therapists, they don't know. Like, okay, the therapist knows she's at least based on the last movie, she knows Lane's at least somewhat into like the internet, and at least, but she doesn't know the extent of what she's doing, which like if I were a therapist in counseling, I found that out, I would be worried about myself. I would be like, dude, am I gonna get like my information?
でも仕方ない。私の日記が読まれている。コピーされて、FTP サイトにいやらしいタイトルが付けられて公開されていた。削除したけど、もう20人ぐらいの人が読んでいた。なんでこんなことになっちゃったんだろう。そうだよね。私ができることぐらい、向こうもできるもんね。しばらくネットに繋がんないようにして、様子を見たいけど、こうしている間にも、どこかのサイトにコピーされているかもしれない。検索エンジンと削除するロボットを今日中に作ってネットに流そう。でも、相手が私の日記のスタンプを取っていたら、きっとあんな変な人だから、絶対に取っていく。悔しい。私だけじゃ勝てない。やっぱり私の力ってこんなもの。うさぎさんに相談しようかな。でも、なんとか。
Few interesting things about this. One, I might have been stupid, but I could have sworn her diary was physical. Because we know Toko bought her a literal, physical journal to use as a diary. So I think it's very interesting that I guess at some point between then and now, she transferred it to, a digital format, which again, very sus, right? Like a diary is the one thing I don't think I'd ever make digital, right? That's very sus, but freaking yeah, that's very sus. Second thing being her immediate response is trying to like she was able to stop it and then kind of figure out like how to just wipe its existence from the internet, right? And she kind of thought of ways to do, okay, I know who took it. It's the same guy. And just get back at him, or I can send out some deleting engine to like find any trace and get rid of it. But she also kind of acknowledged that on her own, like it's kind of beyond her at this point. So, but the interesting thing is talking about this Mr. Rabbit character as seeking him for advice and what he can do, which I find is very interesting because he's presumably the person who she learned to, I guess, of how to like kind of dox the guy from, right? The guy who sent her that email that was like encoded. So find that our original theory was that he was Tomo, but we just don't know. I don't want to say it's like he's the god because it's not like fucking the show where he's like the god of the wired or whatnot, right? He's just probably some technical, or he's like is standing or filling for the Knights, right? He just seems to be probably more experienced. And again, with Lain saying like in shock, right? Our people can do what I do. He's probably just a more experienced kind of hacker, I guess is the way to put it, right? Black hat, white hat, doesn't matter. What matters is that he's kind of the one who Lain can turn to in situations like these. Again, very interesting there. So
ひどいことや気持ちの悪くなることを楽しむ人って、本当に私と同じ人間なのかな。でも、そういう私は
this actually raises a really good point because it's like, two really good points. One being that at the end of the day, every terrible thing that any person has done, at the end of the day, they're all still human, right? Like, at the end of the day, the worst figures in history, regardless of how you view them, they are still human, right? They lived, breathed, ate shit, drank, you know, like the rest of us, you know, like to say they're not human is kind of naive and idealistic, right? You know, because it just ignores the factors which made them, you know, the way they were, and you know, viewing them as like freaking like non-human. Like that's just at the end of the day, that's just that's just, you know, just so naive. But the interesting point again, you know, Lane saying, you know, what then ultimately what is she, right? You know, what does that make her, right? If we're all just human, right? Like how are we like different? And you know, okay, like what causes some of us to do certain things over others, right? You know, again, just interesting point being made there, right? Especially with her kind of having this, I guess, you know, debate or moral sort of battle of whether or not she's a good or bad person, right? And then ultimately, you know, not even bringing up the question of her doppelganger. Just again, interesting to note and talk about there. So, but I guess we have this lab. So I think it'll be very interesting to see, you know, once what would you call it, Toko actually what would you call it, learns of Lane's like sort of machinations online, because like I that would probably be, you know, the catalyst or what would kind of push her over the edge, like realizing okay, maybe there's no like this is way out of my league at this point, right? But I guess we'll see what she has to say in this one. So
レインの名前って RT レインから取ったのかな。まさかね。RT レイン、人の名前。イギリスの精神科のお医者さんで、ちょっと変わった人なの。翻訳されてる本のタイトルが面白いわよ。好き大好きっていうの。好き大好き、先生も大学の時に読んだんで、もううろ覚えだけど。
it's like, but do you really though?
男の人と女の人がいて、女の人が男の人に、私のこと好きって聞くの。それで、もちろん恋人だから好き好きって言うのよ。でも彼女は満足しなくて、もっともっと質問してくるの。よくわからない。そうね。じゃあ、レインの先生のこと好き？
No. Oh, I
お
was
父さんとお母さん、
no.
嬉しいな。
Holy shit.
じゃあ、
God damn.
私といると幸せ？よくわからないけど、多分そうだと思う。レインは私と話をするの好き？うん。私のどこも好き？優しいところと、レインの話を聞いてくれるところ。優しいのと話を聞いてくれるの、どっちが好き？どっちか？そう、どっちか。優しいから好き。優しいって、どういうことがレインに優しいの？
Oh my god.
怒らないし、親切だから。でもレインに怒らない人もいっぱいいるわ。レインに親切にしてくれる。
Okay, I hate you, bitch. I fucking hate you.
本当にレインは私のこと好きなの？よくわからなくなっちゃった。そんなに考えなくちゃいけないの？もうやめようよ。私、なんだか先生のこと嫌いになっちゃいそう。
Again, but that's the whole point, right? Because legit people are like that though. Like I know people who are like that, and it's like crazy. It's like, dude, it becomes like an interrogation. Like it's the old okay, this is satire, right? But when motherfuckers are like, if I were to turn into like a worm, would you still love me? It's like no, because you're a fucking worm, right? But it's like they're because that one's satire, right? But people are legit like this. They're like, okay, how like I know people who I don't because they make it seem like it comes from a place of like, okay, you know, insecurity and lack of like self-esteem or self-confidence. So they need like the reassurance. But then it's like, okay, that doesn't mean you're not basically interrogating your partner, right? Like you having like insecurity and self-esteem and self-confidence problems doesn't mean you can freaking like harass your partner about this. It's like, I don't know how else to put it, but I know some people who are like this. But again, you know, the other point it raises, the one line that's interesting is again, she asked Lane if she liked her more than her parents, and she replied yes. So I don't know if that's actually the case, or if she actually, you know, believes that, or if she was just going along with it. But I find that to be very interesting, especially since we know how kind her parents are. So very interesting to kind of think about there. So again, we have another lab and another diagnosis.
はい。ちょっと説明ついでにやってみたの。先生もレインのこと大好きよ。理由なんかどうでもいいの。レインと一緒に話ができることが先生は嬉しいの。
ただそれだけ。それは、でも、先生の一方的な思いなの。レインには関係がありそうで関係ないの。先生はそう思ってる自分がわかるだけで言うの。それ以上は結局わからないことでしょ。レインが先生のこと、先生と同じように好きかなんて、レインの心の中を先生は見られないの。
なんか、嬉しくなっちゃった。
ごめんなさいね。でもそんなものだって解釈があるの。でも、私のこと好きって言ってくれるレインに、私は喜びを感じるのよ。レインが先生に好きって言われて嬉しい？
うん、嬉しい。
そう。それだけでいいの。先生はレインの大事な友達だって思ってるの。レインのことをすべてわかることは不可能なのよ。レインも先生のこと全部わからないでしょ。もしすべてわかってしまったら、先生はレインで、レインは先生になっちゃうでしょ。つまり、同じ人間になっちゃったら、レインがレインでいる必要がなくなっちゃうでしょう。先生は、わからないことがいっぱいあっても、レインが好きなの。
よくわからないレインが好き？
そうね。よくわからないレインも好きね。それは全部じゃないの。
私は先生のこと全部わかりたい。
それは先生も一緒よ。でも不可能なのに。
あの、
そう。だって自分が何であるかもわからないもの。レインに説明したくてもできないわ。レインはレインで、私は私。でもね、レインと私が同じ人間になってもダメかもしれない。
同じ人間？
そう。レインと私が全く同じ人間。同じものが見えて、同じ考え方をして、同じ行動をとる。見た目も何もかも一緒。そしたら、私とレインがいることは、私って認識しかないでしょ。でもそれさえもなくなっちゃう。レインがレインだと思っちゃうと、先生は存在できないのよ。先生が先生だって思ったら、レインはいなくなっちゃうの。だから二人が同時に分かり合えることは不可能なの。
でも、先生はレインが聞いたら説明してくれるよ。それでもダメ？
うん。でも全部じゃないわよね。全部答えるには長い時間が必要だし、答えは常に変わっていくこともあるじゃない。昨日はこう思ってたんだけど、今日はこう思うとか。
結局、ダメなんだね。
そうね。レインの中に先生が入ってしまって、いつでも答えられればいいんだけど。
Again, so this one delved into very much, some philosophical shit, right? But the big thing being, is that, and what it comes down to is you'll never know, I guess, not only the true self of others, but even your own true self, right? Unless you have some extreme level of self-awareness like Lain potentially, but again, it's like the old, three faces, right? You have three faces, but again, right? It's just at the end of the day, you'll never really know. So let's go see this diagnosis.
クライアントとのコミュニケーションの良好である。前回のセッション、多少質問攻めに苛立ち、からかい半分の会話にはなった。あえてそのことで、クライアントとの確実に知った。今後も、クライアントの自我の成長、確率への援助を中心としたカウンセリング。
Okay, but like this is what you should have I hate to say it's what you should have been doing. I think it's very telling when because the whole thing that kind of caught and made me realize oh damn, we got some there's like fucking nothing on this level. What the fuck? But yeah, I was gonna say, let's watch these movies after we do these, but it's something to where what it comes down to is I found it very interesting when, Lane was kind of talking about her memories not being her, and then rather than kind of asking clarifying and or follow-up questions, instead she was just Toko was just reaffirming Lane, which again, and I still feel like the big thing here is she doesn't know about what Lane's doing on the net. So that's kind of a big thing to go off of there. So
よくわかんなくなっちゃった。あの変な人が、うさぎさんの知り合いだって。僕に任せて、一切忘れてくれ。だって。悔しい。絶対復讐したい。泣き寝入りなんてしたくない。忘れたいことを全部忘れたい。嫌なこと。
Telephone lines.
嫌な私。そんな魔法みたいなことできるの？
Again, the big thing. So I guess, still the question is, okay, who is this Mr. Rabbit? But it's also like, again, kind of more so dealing with the impacts of, you know, having such an online presence on her, right? So again, specifically regarding her wanting to forget and just wanting to kind of make it all go away, I guess, in a sense, and kind of wishing she had the ability to do that. So
今度こそ私は変わる。楽しくて普通の中学生で、部活なんて
bullshit.
あんまり同じクラスの子がいませんように。お母さんがお父さんと電話で話していた。私のことが心配？大丈夫
Probably.
よ。安心してね、二人とも。久しぶりにまたあれが見えた。自己現像死？それとも、私の頭はどこかおかしいの？病気でも、病気じゃなくても構わない。もうやめてほしい。
Yeah, I think the interesting thing being Lane talking about seeing it for the first time in a while. We don't know what it is, but seemingly a delusion, hallucination of hers. One that had been gone for a while she's been seeing Toka. So very interesting that, it's coming back, right? It's starting to come back. So that's obviously not a good thing and or a problem, right? Again, goes show, Toka saying you still need to, treat and or care for yourself even after this. So even that stuff. So anyway, yeah, just find that very interesting there. So because yeah, now that's just added on to the list of, laundry list of things that Lain needs to like deal with. So yeah, I don't know why this level is like so little.
が出てきた。
I was about to say, what the fuck?
昔から歯は丈夫だったの。血の味が口に広がる。ちょっぴり苦くて嫌な味。血が止まらなくて、なかなか食べそうもない。それと明日の入学式が不安だから。ちょっと嫌な感じ。
She looks so worried in that picture. That's so sad. But I was gonna say, well, hey, first I might be like just weird because I like the taste of blood, but it's something where like that's a normal thing, especially like like it's the old flossing meme, right? But it's legit like like my teeth sometimes bleed like because of that. I floss every day, brush every day. I even do like mouthwash with like gotta get that fluoride in, right? But again, it's something to where it's like this is like again, but obviously because of her knowledge, capabilities, ability and competence, she's like immediately links it to like some like pyoria. What even is that? Like, let me look that up. Like, I don't even know what that is. What's pyoria? Like, that's her first assumption rather than oh my god, pyoria. Serious gum infection that damages gums can destroy the jawbone. Periodontitis. Oh Jesus Christ. Periodontitis is common but fairly preventable. The cause is usually poor oral hygiene. Periodontitis leading to tooth loss is a risk factor for heart and lung diseases. But again, if clearly she's been brushing her teeth, right? So it's more so I wouldn't say it's because of worry, or specifically stress for middle school. More so just it's a naturally like occurring thing that happens that it happened to fall on that day, but and we'll watch those too. Yeah, what the fuck? Are we like done with all these logs? Like what? I don't know. It's just weird.
私は違う。もう
Bitch, evil Lane's coming out. This so again, we got the doppelganger Lane is making an appearance, right?
お母さんが来てくれて嬉しかった。クラスにも小学校で同じクラスの子が
That's good.
した。校門の先生も優しそうな先生だし、友達もできた。欠席番号中に席が決められちゃったけど、クラスのほとんどがなんか違う。やっぱり付き合えない。でも一人だけ、
Oh my god, don't tell me your name is Alice. Don't tell me your name's Alice.
私にはそういう人が
That'd be the freaking.
美里ちゃん、これからよろしくね。
Do we know Misato? I don't actually know. All I know is Alice is the name of the one girl in the anime, so. But there's again, because the question in it raises is
だからこれで何もかもうまくいく気がする。私には一人友達がいれば大丈夫。あ、
dude, I swear to God, don't tell me he fucking dies. Like, you can't tell me that. Because it raises, here's the thing, all of this raises the question, is this connected to the show? I really don't think so. That's my problem. I really don't think it's connected to the show. Like, I really don't think it's connected to the show. Simply because, again, there's just like, she already has such an online presence versus the show where it made it seem like it was just the start of it. And then obviously, the situation with her parents. Like, I genuinely don't think this is like connected to the show. So also, yeah, we can see these environment. Right, NPCs. Only non-NPC. Imagine living as an NPC, bro. I say that as I also say don't dog on the 9 to 5. Like, I need to like freaking figure out my I need to figure out let's see. Dude, I swear, like, where's the fucking sound? Okay, and then this is the flashback. We're talking about that. Because it's probably, middle school to grade school, right at the change of the thank God they didn't show. Dude, that'd be mad sus, bro. This came out on the fucking PS. Hey, I'm playing this on my PS1. Dude, that's like kind of low key mad sus, but again, it's like freaking I mean, if you think about it, right, because PS1, okay, it's not Nintendo, so I guess the game's Japanese, but doesn't make it Nintendo, right? So, or at least not even the fucking console. So, hold on, I want to watch this movie before. Hold on, did we watch that one? Hold on, I don't think we watched this one over here. Yeah, why do we have like no? I swore we had like 150 Lain like diary entries. I don't know why. Are we like missing a ton or what? Like what's going on here? Like we're definitely skipping some walkthrough. Yeah, so it's just a continuation. Bro, it's evil Lain. It's evil alternate Lain. But yeah, so we're definitely like skipping some stuff, which is interesting because we're basically just doing it in chronological order. So I guess even if we do skip some stuff, it doesn't matter because we can just simply fill in the gaps. Because it's something where again, because of the chronological nature of it, right? So yeah, let's watch this movie then. Then we'll move on to that lab. Yes, it's just her on the train reading. Let me guess, it's a book about programming. And then there's the charm. There's the charm. But I was gonna say, I still so she moved at some point, moved all of her physical diary entries onto that's mad sus, not even gonna lie. Like that's the one thing I would not like my own diary with all my personal, like I don't write a diary, right? It's just not something I do. But something where I would never like that'd be like the one thing I would never like digitalize. Like I would always have just a physical copy. Like
学校は楽しい？
new school.
何が楽しい？
友達と話したり、一緒に遊んだりする。
Imagine she's Mr. Rabbit.
学校が楽しいっていいよね。
先生は楽しくなかった？
うん。一時期、先生は友達が少なくて、学校がつまんなかった人なんだ。 レインも友達がいなくなったら寂しいでしょ？
うん。ごめんなさい。
なんで？
嫌なこと思い出したんでしょ？
そうね。あんまりいい思い出じゃないわ。
Bitch, I was about to say fucking motherfucker had no friends at university.
そうになっちゃうけど、今こういう仕事をしてるのも、そういうことがいい経験になってるのかもしれないし。
いい経験？
先生はお勉強して、例えば学校に行きたくない人の心理構造を解析したりするの。自分がそうだった頃の経験が役に立つこともあるわ。
難しい。
ごめんなさい。レインにはちょっと難しいよね。ごめん。先生ったら仕事のことになると、つい周りが見えなくなっちゃう。先生失格だね。他の話しようよ。そう。お友達はどんな人？
明るくて仲良くしてくれる。一緒にいると楽しい。
名前は何て言うの？
みさとちゃん。
みさとちゃんか。いつもどんな遊びしてるの？
みさとちゃんのお家に行ったりして、本を一緒に読んだり。みさとちゃんのバイオリン聴いたり。
そう。バイオリンができるんだ。すごいな。いい友達ね。よかったら今度一緒にここに連れてきてもいいよ。
でも、恥ずかしがり屋だからダメだよ。
え？恥ずかしがり屋？
多分、聞いてみる。でも、多分嫌だって言うと思う。
残念だな。
Couple interesting things. One, kind of gain a backstory of Toko and kind of learning that basically, at first I thought she was talking about university. I'm like, okay, I guess you were on fucking a grind like so hard that you couldn't like be friends with anyone. But again, she was talking about her past and her childhood. So again, that shows not only, similarity to Lain, but also kind of again that she was kind of going through some stuff as well. So that's the first thing there. Again, kind of second thing, again, interesting, her kind of what would you call it? Again, obviously Lane apologizing because they reminded her of bad memory, but then her kind of saying, she felt like it was beneficial for her work, and that she ends up, when she gets involved in her work and or the stuff, it ends up, coming back to her or whatever you would call it, talking about herself, and that she'd make like a better patient, ironically enough. But again, that type of work, like having that experience is what makes you attracted to that type of work to begin with. So but then along with that, it's also something I think the most interesting thing is her asking Lain particularly to bring Isao, right? Which I'm not even sure you can do or that you're like supposed to, but I guess still asking her and then, I guess, Lain kind of I guess saying like, oh, she wouldn't like it. But then, it's also something to where it's like, what would you call it? You know, the big thing there being that's like, yeah, I mean, you know, again, it's like in the interesting thing to speak about that there is, yeah, I mean, again, is that like it feels like, I don't want to say that Lane and Toka are the same, right? Like I've seen that more and more, with how kind of similar experiences they seem to have, with Toko probably being more experienced, I should say, or kind of leaning towards that like psychology aspect where like, the human mind and brain with Lane, lean more towards okay, the digital, visual, virtual, realm, right? The internet, interweb, whatever you call it, network, like that kind of stuff. So I just find that interesting, to think about there, right? Is there seems to be, some definite, level of similarity. So
だいぶ表情に明るさが出てきた。ここ数ヶ月で仲良くなったらしい友人の影響と思われる。それに伴う生活環境の変化により、環境因子の改善がなされたため、
interesting.
同年代の気の合う友人を見つけられたことで、おそらくは私よりも親密な関係を築いていくことだろう。質問が減らないのは、私に対して何を話していいかわからなくなったためではないだろうか。今後、数ヶ月の様子を見て診察を終了した。
Couple interesting things. The first thing being that Toko being able to kind of pick up on the living situation, at least to change it despite it not being readily apparent. And then I think the interesting thing coming from that is her specifically saying that what would you call it? It seemed to me more beneficial, even though Lain herself like misses her dad. So again, the Toka stuff, obviously it's that's fairly obvious, but I just find that that's very interesting to me. And then along with that, it's something to where it's like I think the big thing there is along with that, right? What would you call it? The big thing there is that yeah, her saying that she would like to discontinue evaluations, which she wrote about in her journal entries. So just again, kind of very interesting, to go off of there, right? Yeah, very, very interesting to go off of there. So
ネットであれが見えた。こんなこと言わな
hey, 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 whoa, 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 hey, hey. I thought
人に行く必
I think we know what that is, right? But it's like
要だから。また
okay,
しばらくアクセスしないようにしよう。せっかくうまくいってるんだもん。大丈夫よ、レイン。私はもう一人じゃない。
again, interesting thing. One, okay, I'm surprised it took this long. I mean, she found a freaking dismembered child before she found just normal porn on the fucking internet, right? So I guess not surprised. But then, the following thing being, her talking about how, talking with Mr. Rabbit saying she's going to take a break and that she's no longer alone. Still have no idea who this Mr. Rabbit guy is. But again, it's definitely very, very interesting, right? So let's watch this movie, right? So. Yeah. Are the movies out of order? I assumed it was always chronological, and it seemed to be the case. Bottom up, fairly chronological. Is this her on her way back home from middle school? Okay. So again, seems to be just kind of, I guess, like a toss-up, I guess, seemingly. Well, I'm trying just go up. When did we read all those Toko logs? They were definitely what would you call it? And we definitely are missing some of these, but I guess because we're still doing it in chronological order, right? It's like, not as big of a deal here. Yeah, we got way more movies up here for some reason. I don't know why. So it just seems very odd, I guess, or weird. Behave. I guess this is just a follow-up of her walking. That must be whatever her new friend is. So let's read this Lain diary entry, right? So yeah, we're definitely just skipping around, we're definitely, just skipping some,
父
but
さんが帰ってきた。
oh, thank fuck.
絶対話した。
I was about to say, don't tell me he's, oh yeah, Masato. Don't tell me he fucking died. Like I was
父さん疲れてるから。また明日にしなさい。
interesting still though that Toko said, her situation almost seemed, better without him, but
お土産にクマのぬいぐるみを買ってきてくれた。目がクリクリしてて可愛い。名前は何にしようかな。
again, we know there's a teddy bear in the show, but it could just, again, I guess that's probably one of the big mysteries and things we'll have to answer is this connected to the show? Is this literally just like, there's no way it can be though. Like it's impossible. Like there's no way that
父さんってこんなにニコニコしてたかな。自分が変わると、人も変わって見えるのかな。
I was about to say he's cheating, but again, it does raise the question because Lain does legitimately seem to be in a better place now, at the start of middle school. So again, just something interesting to note and point out. Don't want to say it's necessarily because of, that, but like she does have a point, and that could genuinely be the possibility there. So different day. And then these are just random people from our school. So now I'm gonna watch this movie and then we'll go through the laps. Yeah, we jumped from like 76 to 86. So they must all be in Site B. I thought Site B was another thing, but I guess it's just kind of, I guess, randomly divided.
だっけ。ねえねえ、 レインってばさ、
Jesus Christ, you're loud as fuck.
情報基礎の授業とか、全
Yeah, genius. Actual fucking genius.
関係ないよ。原産、ね、レインのパパってさ、かっこいい？今日会える？ごめん。
Okay, but this is so we need some we got and then I'll say, damn, she fast as fuck. So we need some context.
だよね。
Here's the thing, because we need some context behind this between because it's something to where it's like, and I'm gonna pause and end it here, I'll see if we can get, a secret cutscene, but we really need some context because it's like them reference because I would say, it's not, Masato, right? It's just some other random classmates. But okay, so obviously I guess they caught on to, kind of what Lain does. But then they bring up her dad, so it's like, okay, we need some more like I guess, maybe Site B will have answers to a lot of those, but I guess stretch. Freaking the little morning wake up stretch, but yeah, we'll see. I want to see if we can get a secret cutscene, but again, with that, I guess we'll see. It seems like it's very much thinning out, and so my original impression interpretation was okay. We got one. Okay, we've already seen it. My original interpretation was Site B was a complete separate thing, but now it just seems like a lot of the stuff we have is just, or a lot of the gaps we have are within Site B. So just very interesting to know. But again, with that, I don't really have anything else for this one. So yep, that's it for this one. See you in the next one.